Hi, Trains Nation. I'm Steve Sweeney with Trains Magazine, and I'm here with fellow Trains staffers David Lassen and Angela Puszstai-Pasternak. This is Trains' very first Trains NewsWire broadcast. You can watch us every Friday, where we'll recap the events of the week from Trains NewsWire at trainsmag.com, and we'll help probably preview what's coming up in next week too. We're going to talk mostly about the Canadian Pacific Norfolk Southern merger talks, but first we want to talk about Joe Boardman. Joe Boardman is Amtrak's CEO. He announced this week that he's going to retire toward the end of 2016. So I'll turn it over quickly to Dave Lassen. Dave, as our passenger editor, what do you think the retirement's going to mean for Amtrak and the railroad?
Well, I mean, obviously the succession is the immediate question. Who takes over and who wants that job? Because it's a pretty challenging
it is.
Gig to try to manage a railroad that never has enough assets. I think there's a lot of speculation about the timing too. It was only in May that Joe took accepted a new 2-year contract. So why now? And I think that's going to be something that'll be interesting to follow in the weeks ahead if we can find out the reasoning for the timing. So.
Absolutely. We're going to be following that up with more stories in the next week in Trains NewsWire. So right off into Canadian Pacific Norfolk Southern. There was a lot of news out this week. There was a conference call on Tuesday. And Angela, as our production editor, you've been well prepared. You've read all of our copy. You've seen 3 and 4 revisions on it. And what's your take now after having seen and heard all of us reporting on it?
Honestly, I don't have the passion that probably a lot of our readers and industry people have about what should happen. But when you just read the stories and look at the facts, it seems to me that I'm quite Team Hunter. And I know my Facebook friends list is going to go down. But, they have a lot of opportunity with moving east and, moving different types of commodities. And I don't see that there should be a problem with it.
No, you're absolutely right. In building some graphs and charts, Canadian Pacific has 2.7 million carloads a year as of 2014, and Norfolk Southern has 7.7 million carloads a year. So in a lot of ways, it looks like the minnow is swallowing the whale, or trying to, and that is certainly what's come out on the conference call and some of the news releases so far. David, you did me a favor earlier this week, and you listened in on that marathon, almost 3-hour conference call with Hunter Harrison, Bill Ackman, and a few other executives. What were some highlights for you? What were some key takeaways?
Well, I thought one thing that was interesting was just kind of how nasty the tone often was. I mean, there were some pretty outright attacks on the current NS management, mostly led by Mr. Ackman. I suspect that they want to keep Hunter's hands a little bit clean of the blood in that regard in case he had to work with the NS people in the future. The other thing I imagine a lot of people kind of screaming when Bill Ackman repeatedly referred to Hunter as the greatest railroader of all time.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a grandstand there, yeah.
Yeah, but to Angela's point, I can sort of understand why the analysts would feel that way. He has a remarkable record in terms of operating efficiencies. I'm just not sure that makes you a railroader.
That's true. There is a great difference between efficient and lean. So do you think the trash talk is something that we're going to expect from NS and other railroaders in the future, or is this a one-time deal?
Well, I think it certainly appears to be CP style, and that they're going to do what they can to advance this, and they've already said they're willing to go to a proxy fight, so I don't imagine it's going to get any more polite if that happens.
No, probably not. One interesting thing that we've been looking on is what makes Hunter Harrison the X factor. In Canadian Pacific's bid, they bid for Norfolk Southern with about 30%, 40% stock, 30-40% cash, and then 60% stock. And then Hunter Harrison is supposedly the guy that's going to come in and make Norfolk Southern efficient and wonderful and just some sort of
mean fighting machine.
Exactly, that it isn't or can't be now with current management. I wanted to know what you thought, or Ange, what do you think is the X factor in Hunter? What is it about him that people just seem to love or investors seem to cling to?
I don't know. He's got a strong fist and he's got strong opinions and he's got a plan and he does have a team that's backing him up. So, it'll be interesting. I'm really curious to see if there are stories that are going to come out regarding, how they try schmoozing the Norfolk Southern board. To what lengths is he going to go?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. David?
And I think that, you do have to look at the track record. I mean, what he's done with operating ratios is pretty dramatic at the railroads he's been at before. What that means for their long-term health, I think, is debatable. But certainly in the short term, if you're looking to make money, he's the guy to go to.
Absolutely. Be sure to read up more on this story and many more at Trains Newswire at trainsmag.com. For the entire Trains news staff, have a safe day.